Senator Zambang Studios 16 Ways to Call It Out in 16 Days podcast. Join us as we uncover and unearth the silence, abuse, rape, harassment, and all forms of violence women face for just being women. The unheard stories, encounters, actions, and revelations of 16 advocates and activists. Subscribe, and together we delve into the legacy of what it truly means to be female, living and breathing in the 21st century. Ibrahim Mustapha, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's start from the top.
Right.
The I Am Legacy project. We know we discussed it, I think a few months back, but can you just refresh our audience on what is behind the reason for the MI Legacy project?
Right. So thank you very much. The I Am Legacy project is the legacy of Ibrahim Mustapha, myself, and the aim is to give back to society. And just using my personal funds without going to anybody to seek for funding. So I use the small I make from the series of my books and trainings, just gather them once in a while. Yeah, once it gets to a threshold that I can give to some group of people, then I look for either women group, whatever group it is that really needs help, and I go and do the donations. So that's just basically how I want to help.
Welcome, Mr.
Kasiru Shani.
Yes. So please, can you tell us who you are and what you do at Songtaba?
Okay, fine. My name is Shani Kasiru. I work with Songtaba as the head of programs and policy. And here at Songtaba, we are a women and child rights advocacy organization where we are looking at securing basic rights for women and girls. When I say basic rights, I mean the very basic things of how to feed, how to eat, and also there's kind of abuses that are within our system that is disproportionately affecting women and girls. Yes, okay. Yes, so that's what we do. And our programs run across 4 thematic areas: women's rights and governance, issues of climate change, education, and sexual and reproductive health. And in all these things, women and girls are a cross-cutting team across, because the negatives of all these things affect women and girls more.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you had a team of friends and volunteers,
Right,
who accompanied you yesterday to Gambaga in the northeast region,
right.
To donate food items and other things to the women there. Briefly, can you tell us how you got to choose that particular alleged witches camp, and what were the help you got in trying to identify that particular group of women and actually preparing for the journey yesterday?
Right. So I had a meeting with U.S. Embassy.
Okay.
Like, so they, because I'm a Mandela Washington fellow, so they came to town and they brought us together, like 5 of us,
Okay.
from different fellowship programs. So there was one woman who's Haji Lamnatu.
Okay.
So we had a meeting. So after the meeting, we were just talking off key, like having conversation, trying to know ourselves. And we're all talking about things that are not right in society, and things that we need to do to help the region. And she also mentioned that yes, she has women group, like there are 4 witches camps, alleged witch camps. No one is supporting them, and these women, all women, actually need help. So we're just talking. I said, it's like I can do something about it. Actually, they need help. So I said, when I travel and come, I will see what I can do. So I came back, but that was on Monday. But I was just lying down and I felt like, oh, let me postpone it. Because I was a little bit hard pressed of money. But something came up And whilst I was just watching something on YouTube, like, and the thing is that sometimes we are afraid to take action. We feel like if I give money and that's all my money, I don't know what I will do tomorrow. I don't know where to get money back. I don't know what. But sometimes it's God's way of telling you that just do it. If it is helping people, and the questions I ask us, if it is that I don't have a place to sleep. There are a lot of people, over 1 million people in Ghana who don't have homes, but they still sleep. If it's that I don't have food to eat, I'm telling you, there are people who always get angry. They get angry, but they still live in Ghana. If it is that I don't have money to travel, I stay at where I am. So I don't have an excuse, right? And I feel like the small I have, I can do something. So I opened it up, and I told I just put it on Facebook that I wanted volunteers to do a project, and I contacted Hajia to give me the particular witch camps, alleged witch camps, because there were ones of 30 people, there were 70. So she said the Gambaga needed help. So I said, well, then let's go. I brought the volunteers because I opened it up.
Yes.
I wanted us to also see how it is to give from the perspective of we from northern region giving. All the time we feel like an NGO should be someone like in charge of giving, or this white man somewhere should come and give. Yeah, it's good, but it comes with conditions. If you give and you write reports and you yourself you are tired, like you have to lie, tell whatever. But if you are giving, we are giving, we know our problem. We genuinely giving, it's just like we gave and we return back. No one needs to go and do reports. They should eat. It's their food, right? And that's the thing, that's what will help us like change the narrative. So that's particularly why we chose that witches camp, and we are doing it. And I just believe that if someone, just like people ask me this morning, oh, I want to be part of your group, even though I've not posted why we went there. I just posted some of the action shots
You took on the street.
On the streets. Even the main agenda is still there. Whether I'll post it or not, is still, I might post it, but people are asking, oh, I want to be part of the group, I want to be part of the group. So it's a positive call. And I just believe that in my type of help, if you also have money or something small, look around your community. That's why I don't take help. I don't, whether you are US Embassy, I always tell them, yeah, I don't need your money. Whether you are US Embassy or whatever, USAID, which one? There are real people in your communities. There are real people that you can go and help. So if you also want to help, there are witch camps, just identify one and do it.
Yesterday you joined Ibrahim Mustapha's IM project,
Yes.
Legacy, and we traveled to Gambaga. First of all, let me ask this: have you heard of Mustapha? Do you know what he does, or that was just the first time you guys had to meet and interact and get to know each other?
Okay, so let me say Mustapha is somebody I have known at a distance. It wasn't yesterday that I got to know him. I've actually been following him on Facebook and other platforms where he has been a facilitator before. So I've actually been monitoring some of the work he does. So we are very particularly happy that at some point in time he decided to turn his legacy project to issues that we are already working in. So when he reached out to my director, she also informed me, this is what one young man called Mustapha is trying to do. What do you think? So upon reflection and looking at the nature of the issue, I recommended Gambaga camp to my director to be the place for us to visit. And so when you look at the reasons why, currently we have about 4 of these camps, and Gambaga happens to be one of the camps with the highest numbers. And so that is one reason we recommended that camp for visit. And also there's another new trend within Gambaga which is making it unique among all the camps, that we are now recording men being banished to that camp. I believe you saw yesterday when we went, you saw 4 men. Previously it used to be only women. And yes, so I was also even surprised that we are now recording men in these camps, what is actually being the case, which we're yet to do deeper into there. But so we are particularly happy, like I mentioned, in working with these camps. I think their feeding, how the women survive in terms of what to eat, has been one of their biggest challenge. That philanthropists have always come to the aid of the women, and Songtaba as an organization reaching out to people to donate to them. Like I mentioned before we left yesterday, we did a fundraiser, and the fundraiser was not just targeting only money, but it was targeting even foodstuffs. But people actually also donated money. The monies that were donated was actually used to buy more food for the women, because that is actually what they are looking out for, aside their health needs, which we are working closely with the assembly through the health insurance office to get them registered so they are able to access healthcare. But feeding is one of their key challenges. So we were particularly happy that Mustapha Legacy Project actually thought it wise to support the camps with this feeding. And so for me, I'm particularly happy that young people, including myself, because I'm a young person myself, okay. So I was actually happy that a young person like Mustapha and the team that he came with, I think we're all, those who visited the camp were just youths, and the enthusiasm for which people wanted to be part of the team. Previously, when you tell somebody that you are visiting the alleged witches camp, they feel some fear, I mean, reluctant to go. But I was particularly happy that the youth, the team, was very happy to visit there. And before we even went there, you could see the enthusiasm, the happiness, and all the way, even at the camp, the way people were relating with the women, I mean, dancing with them, I mean, having fun with them. That is actually one of the healing processes that these women require, because they are living in exclusion. Some of them actually have been in those camps for like 15 to 20 years. Wow. And so for a whole year or two, nobody visits them. And so when they receive visitors like us, especially young people, they become happy that, look, even though our biological children, our biological families may have abandoned us, there are people who still care for us, and they are using their hard-earned money to provide us with some foodstuff. And they were very happy. I'm sure you interviewed some of them, the responses they gave. And so for Gambaga camp, I think it's one of the oldest in Ghana, which has actually received some attention, but we still calling on young people, calling on philanthropists to come to support the women. You saw the kind of structures they were living in. I think these are even now improved structures. Previously, it wasn't like that. When you visit other places, it looks more deplorable than what you saw yesterday. So we say that fine, some of, as far as they are still at the camp and not reintegrated back, they need to live a life of dignity and respect, because they are still human beings. They are there not because they want to be there, but based on certain suspicions and allegations which have actually not been proven. But of course, communities need to understand that these things are issues of human rights. So that is what we do as an organization, do more education and sensitization around it. But let me also thank Gambaga for his commitment. I think he's doing a very wonderful job. He has received these women, he's taking care of them, even though he's old, but he still has some authority and children looking after these people. Let me also mention the Go Home project. Samson and his team always been at the camp, whilst we also look around to find more support for the women at the camp.
All right. And what were some of these items you gave out yesterday to this alleged witches camp?
Right, so we gave rice. So wanted to make the rice more. So the rice was core, and we added oil, we added Maggi, we added tin tomatoes, we added a lot of stuff just to make it easy. So if the person fetch water and have some fire, the person can cook. They don't need anything. There's salt, there's everything. But in the near future, we may add more maize, because one of the women said, okay, next time they also needed maize to do, because most of their food also like relies on the maize distance. So next time we'll add maize, and if you are adding maize, it will like look more big, but rice too is also good. So next time we'll add maize and stuff. But those were just the things that we wanted to.
And was there something particular about some of the women you interacted with them? Because I saw you interacting with some women, and apparently one woman even composed a song especially for you. It was more like the Dogombe's Longsi kind of people.
Yeah.
Like, how was your interaction with these women, and what did you get from
So what I got was that me, I don't get into the debate whether they are witches or they are not witches. Right, I believe that we are all here in this world with our purpose. What I believe is that we all have our human rights. We all need to be protected, we need to be cared for. And one woman in particular said she has a son and she can't even get access to the son. There's another woman who said, I want to build. Like, I just wanted people, because they don't need me. My people don't need me. I understand that, but I just want to have my own place, land, where I can even build and go and stay there. They have their community, I have my place. I don't even have that. Right? She said at that time I had the power to do that, but I don't. They've sacked me. They don't even give me the chance to explain. Right? So they just say, we don't want you. So she's here into the place. It's small for her, but it's okay. The world has rejected them, but some of the people have taken them, and they are okay. So it was emotional, and I feel like, wow, if my mother is a witch, I still will feed my mother. So yeah.
Okay. So now let's come back to this thing. What as a motivational speaker, as a speaking coach, and also a lot of things, how are you going to channel whatever you got from this place, from these women? How are you going to channel that, and how is it going to influence your next step in terms of speaking to people, speaking to communities, speaking to groups? What lesson are you going to derive from your experience with this?
So the lesson here is always one: just live your life. Don't be afraid, don't be scared, but just know that at any point in time there's someone who needs your help. We, especially in where we are coming from, people are scared to live the life they want to live. People are even scared to give back to society. I for once thought that life is about plots, so I'll get all the plots I want. Life is about car, right? And people still laugh at me because I don't have a car. Someone asks me, you don't have a car, are you so serious about it? And I say, yes, I don't have a car, I still take the normal cars we take. And sometimes you see the mockery, but in reality I can buy a car. But I just believe that if I am able to, I'll buy a car. I'm not going to buy a car that everybody buys, right? And that's the fear. You get small money, you're thinking about a car. First, let's think about society. Because today, if I die, I'm telling you, see, whether you make this impact or you don't even make an impact, when you die, it's the same. Right? So once you are living, make sure that you just make someone happy. Whether they give back. Because this woman, apart from the fact that they will say, okay, we're praying for you, there's nothing physical they can do to me in terms of helping me. But the only thing we all have is, we are praying for you, we are doing whatever it is. But the reality is that we want them to be happy. So, and that's what keeps me going. Let me know that no, it's like it's not about only you. I have a family who also need some of the things I give to them. But I always say that yes, I want to give to people who are really in need. People who pretend as if they need. So, and that's been the guiding principles, and it has always helped me a lot. It has always helped me a lot. And the other aspect is that I always give just because others have given me. In my journey, there were times I'll go and like travel to some place. I don't even have a place to sleep, and someone will offer me a place. So I just believe that we just need to give. We just need to, and that's what we need in Africa. If we don't help ourselves, I'm telling you, people will help us with conditions, and the conditions will not be favorable. I had to return some money from one funding guy because they wanted they just wanted that trees, and the classrooms were having problems. But we said plant the trees. I said no, we cannot plant these trees. I cannot plant these trees. So, and that was the last funding me I had, and I returned it. I said no, this nonsense, I can't do it. Because yes, money is good. I'm telling you, all the NGOs you see in town, if I'm to position myself for funding, I can compete with them. Just my name. Right, whether it's not sir, whether it's right to play, whether it's whatever, like they just pretend they are doing good. They are doing good. They are doing, like, some of them, I respect them. But the reality is that we can all compete. It's just about helping the people. So I just believe that the small I have, even though it's painful, but we just give to them. So it keeps me moving. Oh, how will I make the next money? How will I make the next contract? How will I be able to get to the next distance? And once I get that, I'm telling you, I fire and we do it. So that's what it's always giving me. It has given me, and I keep going. I keep going.
Some of the women went to the farm yesterday, and that was the first thing that came to my mind. Aside from them just sitting down, thinking about how life has actually disappointed you, how society has disappointed you, can be really depressing. Which we will go into that further one time. It was silence and that kind of depression. How they also healing in that direction, but they actually going to the farm. To me was a good, that is, they get to breathe fresh air, they get to do something that has to do with mind and body. How have you monitored to see how this actual external activities is also helping them? Because one of the women mentioned that she was just wishing that she had her own place, even if it's outside the community, but they never gave her the chance, and it ended up, and she ended up here. How is this extra activities in the community and this engagement with the chief, how is it helping the women too?
So actually, when you look at the farming issue, Songtaba as an organization in the past have actually designed a program and supported this camp to own their own farms. I mentioned to you that feeding was one of the key challenges. So every year we supported these camps. It used to be previously 6 camps. All these 6 camps to farm. The very strong ones among them work on the farm, so that when there's time for harvest, they harvest these things and share among themselves for feeding. And largely they were cultivating cereals. And one of the reasons was also to show to the world that these women are actually not doomed for life, but they still have some life. They still had some activities to do. So for me, I was not surprised when we went and they said they have gone to the farm. Even though at this stage some of them do not have their own farms, but they go to support other people on their farm, so that when they are returning home, they also get something to come and then feed. So it keeps them active, it keeps them busy, and they are able to actually live the normal life they were already living, because maybe some of them in their previous community, they were already doing farming. Even though they could do it with their family members or even husbands, but here it's in a different form, but it's still farming. So we are happy that some of the strong ones are still able to do. our concern is just the weak ones, and you saw them. When we went, about almost 40 of them could not go to the farm because they actually could barely walk. So these strong ones are the ones who are still working and bringing the food to cook for all of them to eat. Because you saw that they were living in only 1 or 2 people in a room, so at least they still have that communal living and reaching out for each other. Yes.
So before I go to our last part, let me ask, what is the future in terms of their living conditions? Like you said, their structures are this. What is the future? As Songtaba, do you have plans on doing something previously or currently?
Yes, so as an organization, somewhere in 2010, we launched an ambitious project called the Reintegration, with, of course, with other partners on board like Action Aid Ghana, the Go Home project that we met at the camp, including Shiraj, Dosu, and some clergy. Are all part of that committee, and the target is to disband all these camps. That's the long-term goal, because we feel that, look, the lives at the camp is not really a life of dignity. So what can actually be done is to get these women reintegrated and eventually disband or close this camp. So the reintegration process is on. I think that's the very reason why we have reduced the camps to now 4. I mentioned there were 6. So we now have 4 because all the other camps, the women were reintegrated and it was disbanded officially. So women are no longer banished there. So we are left with this 4. So our future plans is still to continue with the reintegration program. And so what we are doing is that we are still calling for support, because the reintegration program is very cumbersome. It involves a lot of travels in terms of negotiation and discussions. For example, if a woman is from a community somewhere in Nanumba South and living in Gambaga, you will need to travel to the community first and get community opinion leader. Oh, we want to bring so and so woman back. This is the challenge. So you need to agree at some point with the community that they will welcome her. But even communities that are still not ready to welcome the woman, we look at relocating the woman to a much safer community, because 1 or 2 instances of reaccusations have ever happened. You reintegrate the woman and they still accuse her, or she goes home and that discrimination is there. So the future plan is to actually reintegrate these women home, but it's a long-term plan. But for the short-term plan is what we are calling for, the likes of Mustapha's IM Legacy project is doing, because once they are still there, they must feed. Once they are still there, their health needs to be taken care of. Once they are still there, their children or their grandchildren who are with them must have access to education. You see, one thing people are not realizing is that when these accusations happen, it is not just only about the woman, but the children, or usually because of their age, their grandchildren follow them to be with them, and they are usually girls. And so that issue is also affecting the girls from getting access to education, because once she's at the camp with the woman, she barely do not go to school again.
And I saw some of them
with them. You saw them, yes. So as part of our program too, we are also soliciting for support for these girls. We are calling on people who can actually sponsor these girls, because their aged grandparents are unable to do so. And as an advocacy organization too, we are also limited with resources. We are doing the talking. We want government to do more action. And so we are collaborating more with the Ministry of Gender to open a national dialogue and get government to come up clearly. What is our position with these camps? Do we really need them in existence? If no, government should come out with an ambitious plan to support civil society who are already into it, to get the process fast tracked. Because I'm very sure that if government also join this reintegration program, it will be very easy. Government can actually easily allocate a budget to support in this process of getting these women back in a very fast process than we are doing, because we based on what generous philanthropists are donating, and we are using that for. So our biggest plan is to reintegration and then official closure of this camp. But let me say that we went there, the women are still 83. You see that it will take a very, if not actually somebody with high authorities stepping in it will really take a long time for a small organization like us to be able to do that.
Part of the 2021 Mandela Washington Fellows.
Right.
Can you give us a gist about how you got in this whole experience, and what was it like for you? Because personally, I know you haven't been an interested member of these particular fellowships and all that.
Right.
So how did they manage to rob you in this?
Right. So, like, I have mentees who've been part of the fellowship.
Okay.
And I saw like the type of getting their names into the database of some embassies and stuff.
Yes.
So I thought it was as a branding kind of thing,
Okay.
so that I can be able to get access to some of the people, and also to let people know that it's not only about like me. Hardly will I even talk about my certificates.
Yeah.
I don't have many certificates like that. So there are a lot of young people who are scared. They want to impress people. They have to go for certificates. They have to go for masters. They finish masters. They have to go for something. They are not even enough, right? So I just want to step in there to see. Oh, this is me who just goes organize my streets, speak, and take my money.
Yeah.
But still, I'm part of the just showcase what I do.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of like a measure.
Yeah.
I wanted to measure, is what I'm doing right? Can it get into this database?
Yeah.
And I just gave it a try. So once I got in, I said yes, they accepted it, and I was part of the fellowship. So now I know that yes, it's part of that. So now I step on that and know that what I'm doing, I have to do more, because also getting to the fellowship has opened me to see young Africans who are doing greater things. You think you are a champion in your community, you are just local champion. I realize that, Charlie, I'm just a local champion.
There are other people doing
Oh, there are people, see young girl like 25, 23, she's consulting for FIFA.
Wow.
And you say, she's consulting for FIFA. What am I doing wasting time? Like, so we can do more.
Yeah.
And that's just the message to the fellowship. Like, it's not about funding from you. And that, I don't, always they announce funding for fellows, but like the amount they are talking about, like it's not even interesting.
Yeah.
Because put some small amount and 700 fellows around Africa will compete for, choose 5 people. I'm not in that competition, right? But it's just to let me know that we can all do it. Yeah, we can all do it. So if you are home, we can all do it.
Okay.
So that's what I have.
We talk about reintegrating them into this pan and these camps. Like you said, there are cases of people like alleging again that so when you brought her back or when you brought him back, this is the case. The question is, as long as superstition exists, or as long as the belief in magic exists, do you think there can be a final closure or reintegration into, because we are in Africa, it's part of the culture?
Yes, so this is a very interesting question I've received before, but the simple answer I always give to this is that people have rights to believe in whatever they believe, but your belief should not be an infringement on somebody's right.
Okay.
If you believe in witchcraft, that is your personal belief. If you believe in superstition, that is your belief. But of course, to the extent that your belief in superstition is causing harm to another person is what the issue is. For instance, most of these women who we saw at the camp are there as a result of some superstitious belief, somebody sleeping and seeing them in their dream, and then the following day you are a witch, then they sack them. It's not as if they've actually committed some murder or some issue. So that's the case. The Kafaba case, the youth in the community said that look, they are not progressing, they are not getting things right because they believe that some old women in the community are actually causing that through their witchcraft activity. So they came round fishing them out until that unfortunate incident. And so these are all people's belief. How do we reconcile the two, or how do we manage the two such that you still have your beliefs but it still doesn't also cause more harm to people. And so, of course, we are in Africa, but we are living in a global community now, where what affects one side of the community affects the other. And so we must begin to relook at the things we do. So as an organization, we are engaging communities, we are engaging traditional leaders, we are engaging religious leaders. And one of the key strategies we have used is that most of us in this part of our country are actual religious people.
Yes.
Let me say about 90% are Muslims.
Yes.
And also, of course, what is the Islamic perspective of witchcraft? When such a situation happens, how do we deal with it Islamically?
Yeah.
So we have engaged scholars like Sheikh Al-Hussein, Dr. Al-Hussein, to actually deliver sermons on how Islam has outlined the processes of dealing with a witchcraft case, which is at total variance with what we are doing now, and we call ourselves Muslims.
But you could also say that we also traditionally our culture.
Exactly.
Like I'm going to comment on your on today's event. We have this Gambaga.
Yes.
So the chiefs too. What I'm happy you mentioned about the clergy. What about the chiefs too? Because they are even the cherry on top of this whole.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I was yet to come there when even as part of the reintegration committee, there are traditional authorities on it. There are representatives of it. And we have engaged chiefs even at the regional house of chiefs level for them to come out with a position paper on witchcraft, how to deal with it, said that it still respects the rule of law. And so most of the paramount chiefs, even including the Yana, Songtaba as an organization have engaged at that level to the extent that we were asking for commitment statement from traditional authorities saying that, look, publicly condemning the abuse, the torture. If you suspect a case of witchcraft, there are laid down procedure even within the traditional system that you report to, and the person is invited for questioning, but not under any duress. And so the traditional authorities, like I said, when you look at Dagwan culture and Islam now, at some point it's merged in a way, not literally, because when you go to any chief palace or any paramountcy, the chief has his spiritual leader who is the imam. Why do they keep them? Because there's some resemblance between the Islamic religion and our culture that we don't want to lose both. So we must find a way to keep both going. Why is it that we have been able to actually collaborate effectively or work together with the Dagban culture and Islam going together? And that we cannot have these things also happening alongside. So human rights, of course, is there. People's belief in superstition is there. But let's find a middle ground when it happens. Because we are saying these things because the innocent ones, if we do not find the middle grounds where we can actually protect the innocent ones, then today or tomorrow it might be any of us. And so there's a fear of women growing up to old age. Because once I grow to old age, one day somebody just accuse you and I'm also there. So every woman is a potential accused person. So that is the reason why we are saying this. So we're engaging on both sides.
Debate on the Dubai Expo. How was the experience like? You attended the Dubai Expo?
Yeah, I attended the Dubai Expo because last 4 years ago I was part of the volunteers for Astana Expo.
Okay.
So I work with the government of Astana, volunteer, train people to speak. We had 6,000 volunteers.
Wow.
Manning the whole expo in Astana. So and I was I even went and organized public speaking club there, and I was interviewed by the national TVs and stuff. So I took a liking to the expos. So the Dubai Expo was not an exception. I just went to see how they organize it and how I can also learn from some of the things that some of the countries exhibited. And I saw a lot of innovations, and I'm going to implement some of them in Ghana too. Yeah.
Perhaps you one day organize your own expo?
Let me not organize my own expo.
consult for the Ghana government organization?
I don't see myself consulting for Ghana government. Yeah, because like the reality is that, and I've been with them, Dubai Expo. I've seen them. Astana, they came,
Yes.
and they bring old people, right? Like older age people, and like, so why I don't see myself consulting for them is that it's difficult to get it to them. The energy I use to consult for Ghana government or to get to consult for them, if I use that energy, I can consult for Dubai.
Yes.
They like Sheikh.
Yeah.
I can easily like get access to Sheikh than our president.
Okay.
I can go to other countries and get access to their president, and now even make more money than I get in me.
I get you.
So you look at the priorities. Yes, it's about time we help our country. But if the conditions are not for you, right, you can't make it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's why my energy, I channel it. I don't even talk about some things. I channel my energy where I'm needed.
Yes.
So, and at the end of the day, it's just about where you are needed. So if they need me and sometimes say, okay, Ibrahim Mustapha, we need your service here, I can even do it for free.
Yeah.
Right. But if I am to go and work, push myself, do this, no, I'm not going to do that. But I'm willing to always help. But I don't see myself going to them because I've tried it.
Yeah.
It didn't work. I tried to organize things like the even NAPCO.
Yeah.
I wanted to organize programs for them, like how can we make NAPCO better? How can we just not make it like you're taking money for free? How can we turn it around, make it like something? But it's like when you are giving them idea, they feel like he needs money. I sent different sent messages to the CEOs and directors where they didn't even reply. They sent to the board. Who is it? Was it Anyas or who? Sent to him, sent to go to their email, through their website, sent no one replies. So you see the energy. But so you need to know where you are needed. If your country is difficult to get into, don't be pushing and say I'm a motivational speaker, I must help, you are killing yourself. Just work other places, and they will bring you. They will bring you. So that's the experience.
Well, thank you very much, Mustapha, for engaging.
I appreciate.
That's okay.
The donation, you saw, you were part and parcel of whatever happened at the end of the day. What is your final words on what Mustapha has done as a young person, and also robbing other young people like us to follow, to see and emulate? From your perspective, going forward, what should we do as young people to support some others? Advocacy. Well, this was one way supporting some
So for me, I think first of all, I want to say that this was a very bold initiative and a very laudable one that Mustapha did, and I could see that it was out of humanity or passion. When we were there, and I could see that some of the pictures, they were calling him to also come in and share, but he didn't actually want to be seen in the pictures to make it look like he's there for show. But he was actually there because he felt that there was a need to support this woman. And I actually like the transparent manner in which we sent the food. Not all of them could get a bag back, but we actually had to open it and fetch a bowl or two to each of them. And they saw that it was distributed equally, evenly to all of them. They all had the same package, and that was fine. So for me, I think the woman actually prayed for him. He said very good things, that they are so happy that people like them who are not family but have made themselves family now have actually come to do this donation. So as an organization, I see that he's done well. The legacy project is actually something that people who have intentions to support should go ahead and support, because I have actually seen him do a lot. Like I mentioned, I've actually followed him and I've seen his community services that he has done. And so when he decided to go and do the donation at the camp. I wasn't surprised. And first, when we contacted the camp, they gave us the current number. But before we could go, the number had gone up. And so we called him and said, "Oh, Mustapha, this is what the situation is." So, "Oh, no problem, we will find a way." And actually, we did find a way to ensure that all the women there had their share of the food. So it's a very good project. I was added to his volunteer platform, and I pledged to remain there to support in whatever ideas, whatever donations personally we can do. I think people are even worthier than him. And if we had been doing these things, we would have gotten ourselves far than where we are now as a people.
Right. So my final word is always in the backdrop of people that God helps others. So me, I always believe in that. I value relationships. So some of the people who were there were just people who I've worked with. People I've worked with from time to time, and I always want to carry them along. So I've never move away from people I've helped. Even if they hurt me, sometimes I still carry them along. Like Martha, she's here doing trainings. Like all the mentees I have, I just value them. And based on that value, I believe that's why God keeps blessing me. Because I'm not doing much these days like I used to. I'm just in my room doing my Zoom meetings, doing whatever. But at the end of the day, once I quantify it, the blessings, I cannot count the blessings, health-wise, whatever-wise. So it's just based on the small things we do, giving back. And see, we can all give back. We can all give back in the charity space. So you see someone struggling, someone working hard, and the connections are not coming, the money is not coming, just because you are not giving. But if you give the little you have, I'm telling you, God always has a way of replenishing. So you just go out, give. And you don't need to be rich. People feel like, you need to be rich to give. I don't have a car, I don't even have a house for my family. But I just believe that, Master, if I die today, that's it. If I build a house and I die, still they say they're going to bury me and someone will come and fight over the house. Build it though. Buy the car you want. Don't look at people and say you don't, because of this. But you need to give it time. Once the time reaches, Master, buy it. Don't go and buy a second-hand thing that will come and destroy your life in the name of peer pressure. So I always work with my time, and I know that, Charlie, time will come. So if you're at home, wherever you are, whatever you do, I'm telling you can do it. Right from me, Camville here, right from Camville to different places. From Camville or where to World Economic Forum, from Camville to so there's nothing everybody can do. So and that's my final word.